Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Tara Smith with the Crop Insurance and Reinsurance Bureau. Find out what the Bureau does at both the state and federal level to help producers. Next up, Greg Akagi brings us the Kansas soybean update. Then Duane Toews talks with Tom Smith with the National Pesticide Safety Education Center. He explains how the center supports and serves Extension Pesticide Safety Education Programs. Next, we'll find out what's going on around the state with the Kansas Farm Bureau update. And to wrap up, it's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. That's what's coming up on Farm Factor today. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families in rural Kansas for more than 100 years. We're pleased to offer new health care coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
What if we dreamed bigger? What if we looked beyond ourselves to the world outside? With the world population over 7 billion, who will lead us into a sustainable future? Kansas State University's Agronomy Department is working to build that brighter future for us all. As a career and high demand, we're working to understand, manage, and protect Earth's vital resources. We help farmers manage and grow their harvest by studying the science behind plants, soils, and the environment, providing a higher standard of living for all, while being good stewards of our natural resources. We work to make the future greener. We work to make the future brighter. Explore a rewarding career and join us in helping feed the world. Discover the possibilities with Kansas State University Agronomy.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Up first today, Kyle Bauer visits with Tara Smith from the Crop Insurance and Reinsurance Bureau.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. We're going to be talking about crop insurance and the Reinsurance Bureau, how that works. We have Tara Smith. She is Executive Vice President, Director, just tell me what your title is.
Deputy Executive Vice President. It's a mouthful. You were close. Yeah. You were very close.
You know, everyone in agriculture understands crop insurance and the importance of it, but tell us about your group.
So we actually represent crop insurance companies and the reinsurance industry that sort of gives them financial backing. And probably most importantly, we spearhead the Crop Insurance Coalition in Washington, D.C. So that's a group of really diverse interests, farm organizations, lenders, input organizations who get together to protect and preserve crop insurance because we know how important it is for farmers on the countryside.
Well, and truly crop insurance has come about in the last, I'll say 25 or 30 years as an integral part of agriculture, of taking some of that uncertainty out of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been an evolution. And I think it was an intentional policy move that Congress made back in 94, 96, even 2000 to really push farmers towards crop insurance just because it provides much more timely assistance to farmers when Mother Nature strikes versus ad hoc disaster assistance, which, can take a year or even 2 years to get to farmers. And sometimes by then it's just too late.
Let's talk about the part of your name where it says Reinsurance Bureau. Can you explain reinsurance?
Sure. So essentially the reinsurance industry provides financial backing for the insurance industry, sort of as the name would lead you to believe. And it's not just the crop insurance industry that uses the reinsurance sector. So all types of insurance have reinsurers that sort of provide them financial backing and allow them to take on all of that additional risk. And so the reinsurers sort of combine that risk, diversify that risk, and make sure that those crop insurance companies, quite frankly, if there's a really, really bad year, that those crop insurance companies are still always able to pay out their indemnities to farmers who have purchased policies.
So is it done by spreading the geography or the book of business, so to speak?
Both. So a lot of the reinsurers that we represent have international business. They're worldwide, and they also take on all types of insurance risks. So it might be earthquake or property and casualty or even terrorism insurance. So they spread the risk far and wide.
So you are, for the most part, a lobbying group or a promotion group?
Yes, we educate folks in Washington, D.C. and in Congress about the crop insurance program. Actually, surprisingly, a lot of folks in Washington, D.C. don't necessarily understand the program or how it works.
Well, and you have a great point, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Much of what I call lobbying is education, and truly bureaucrats and lawmakers rely on people like yourself when issues come up to help them understand the issues.
That's exactly right. A lot of these members of Congress and their staff, they have a lot of issues to keep track of. It's difficult to keep track of everything that's moving in Washington, D.C. So we're really there to help them and to be a resource to them when they have questions about how the program works.
We're visiting with Tara Smith. She is with the Crop Insurance and Reinsurance Bureau. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Stay tuned for this week's Kansas Soybean Update coming up next.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kurt Kovarik, Vice President of Federal Affairs for the National Biodiesel Board, joins us. And Kurt, throughout what we've seen the last couple of months, how do we look as far as the biodiesel industry is concerned?
Our industry is facing this challenge, and for the most part, we're confronting it head on and doing okay. We're suffering from demand destruction as a result of the stay-at-home orders related to Corona. We also have of various challenges within the industry as a result of feed displacement, whether that be distillers' corn oil from ethanol plants, animal fats from the rendering process, or others. We're facing both demand challenges for the product and then also feedstock disruption issues related to Corona. We're probably a little bit better off perhaps than the ethanol industry. The gasoline demand has essentially vanished. Diesel demand is not quite to the same level, but it's certainly down probably 20 to 30%. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of uncertainty in federal policy leading into this. We've secured a long-term tax extension last fall. We were hopeful for good opportunity for growth for the industry, and then this pandemic hits.
Help may be on the way, though. First, talk about the Clean Fuels Deployment Act that was recently introduced in the U.S. House.
We're glad to see Congressman Finkenauer from Iowa, Roger Marshall from Kansas, and others introduce a 6-year bill to provide $100 million a year for infrastructure investments in higher blends of biofuels, both for higher blends for ethanol and higher blends for biodiesel. This is a strong commitment on behalf of the federal government, if this is enacted, to demonstrate that there's a desire to move towards higher blends of biofuels, supporting both corn and soybean farmers and other feedstock providers, and providing a homegrown, renewable, clean-burning, renewable energy.
And, Kurt, recent announcements from USDA show there is help right now for the biodiesel industry.
USDA announced the availability of $100 million for competitive grants to pursue infrastructure for higher blends. This is particularly important for the biodiesel industry when we're trying to build out infrastructure both on the coast and New England and their heating fuel industry. So this is going to go a long way to help build out some of this more expensive infrastructure to get higher quantities of higher blends to new geographic parts of the country.
Through the use of the soybean checkoff dollars, there has been so much support and continued support for the biodiesel industry.
We really appreciate that support. It makes sense, given the fact that biodiesel production adds about 11% to the value of a bushel of soybeans. We purchase 8 billion pounds of soybean oil a year, adding value to a product that otherwise wouldn't have one, to help drive up that cost for the commodity, help the bottom line, and help rural economies.
Kurt Kovarik, Vice President of Federal Affairs for the National Biodiesel Board, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Stay tuned after the break. Duane Toews talks about pesticide education with Tom Smith.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Let's join Duane as he talks to Tom Smith with the National Pesticide Safety Education Center.
Duane Toews joining him once again on the program. A chance to catch up with Tom Smith. Tom with the National Pesticide Safety Education Center. Tom, tell us a little about the program and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, good. Thank you, Duane. The National Pesticide Safety Education Center is a not-for-profit. It was actually formed in February of 2017, and our mission is to serve and support the Extension Pesticide Safety Education programs in every state and U.S. territory. Those are the programs that are at the land-grant universities, and they're the ones that are providing the education for pesticide applicators, both private and commercial applicators.
We think about how agriculture has progressed, technology, chemicals, formulations, different things that have changed over the years. It's become a very specific and technical target audience that you're talking to.
It really is, and consequently the requirements for certification, the requirements to use some of these crop protection products has become more sophisticated as well, thus the education.
Thinking about some of the new product formulations that have a very specific label requirements have dictated some of that as well.
Yes, in fact, not only new ones, but we have old ones. So, for example, Paraquat is a product that's been around a long time. We just recently completed some online training that we developed, as well as in-person training. That's now a labor requirement for that product. So our center was able to do that, and that's, again, provided at no cost to applicators, but much of that training, especially in person, is done through those extension educators in each state.
We think about the reason for it. Obviously, we want to operate in a safe and sustainable manner. Sometimes it gets viewed as a bit burdensome or cumbersome to follow some of those requirements, but they're there for a reason.
They really are, and actually we have a great partnership because we're working with educational institutions, we're working with the state regulatory organizations, we're also working with EPA, and obviously we're working with a lot of the commodity groups that have a vested interest in making sure that this collaboration is effective.
Ultimately, it's about safety for the operators and the communities around the areas that we farm and ranch.
That's exactly true, and also the sustainability, obviously, of the land, of natural resources. But I think you hit on a good point. Really, the applicators are the ones that are potentially most at risk in using some of these products. So understanding the requirements, understanding the personal protective equipment that's needed is really first and foremost to protect those applicators.
Doesn't really become a big factor in most of Midwest agriculture, but certainly in those areas that are growing consumable product that is hand harvested, those re-entry intervals certainly would be one of those things that you talk to in some places around the country.
That's most definitely, and we have seen now new worker protection standards. So our center is very involved in making sure those resources get out to producers so they can train their workers and handlers of products. We also work, again, across every state and U.S. territory. We have a big collaboration going on in the Pacific Island territories, as well as Hawaii, also the Caribbean, because those places are very resource limited. They've had a lot of natural disasters, and so, again, services like we provide can really bolster or boost up those programs in communities that just don't have the resources as some others do.
We think about the divergence then between commercial agriculture with the production guys and crop protection advisors that you work with versus a common homeowner that utilize products as well, but typically they're of a different formulation that we see the over-the-counter stuff.
Very much so, but we're not neglecting that audience either, even though that is really outside of our mission. We've actually started an initiative to look at using mass media, such as what you're doing, to get to those consumers and to talk to them about, in a very more simplistic way, about how you handle products. We have an initiative that we're undertaking in Texas that's going to look at some information about pollinators. Why are pollinators important? What you can do as a homeowner to encourage pollinators and protect pollinators around. So we're certainly addressing that audience, even though it is kind of a mission stretch for us.
Our thanks to Tom joining us here on the program. And once again with the National Pesticide Safety Education Center. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery and adventure no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families in rural Kansas for more than 100 years. We're pleased to offer new health care coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
They're out there on the front lines. The brave, the dedicated, the relentless. But there's another front line. The one that helps nourish all others while facing epic struggles of their own. So in this season of uncertainty, a few things remain certain. The rain will fall, the sun will shine, and together we'll continue to grow.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
I'm Bob Schwartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Schwartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Schwartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the guy who always says no plan ever escapes its collision with reality, Duane Toews.
Yeah, I've been a part of those.
Yeah.
Some of them more than I probably would like to admit. I love the one, it's like, you got to plan for the unexpected. Well, if I wasn't expecting it, what am I planning for?
I swear, if you want the worst thing to not happen, just plan for it, because it'll be something you've never planned for.
Right.
That really happens. And it's, I used to be amused watching kids play basketball early on or football early on in their career had all these plans, had all these plays.
Yeah.
They worked great till the defense came on the field.
Till there was another team.
Till there was another team, and then it's like, and it's like, look, let's just try. That's one thing that amused me on basketball, how many teams it seemed like were more worried about where they stood on the floor than it's like, of all the stats that they keep in basketball, the only one they put on the scoreboard, well, fouls.
Yeah.
But is points.
Is points.
Yeah, we got to get points up there, kids.
You
if you're
gotta
standing
get
in the right place,
doesn't really count much.
Doesn't really count. Got to go at the basket.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch. You talk about basketball like that, and it's pretty easy watching college games at times. It's like, that's not really a play. They have players moving and setting screens.
Right.
And roll, they'll pick and roll, they'll screen away, but there's no real play. They're just doing things and trying to get somebody free.
And if they move, somebody gets free.
You got to keep moving.
Yeah.
It's real easy to guard somebody standing still.
How come you and I haven't been
Coach of the
famous
year?
basketball coaches?
Yeah. I don't really want to deal with young people day in and day out. With their parents sitting in the stands. Just not really cut out for that.
And B.
And
parents were in the stands.
Yeah.
I was at a program one time when it was a Big 8 official. That tells you how long ago. And he did several sports. And they and I asked him, I said, so which sport is the hardest to be an official for? And he says, basketball by far. He said that air's got to come out of that whistle immediately, and you've got to immediately tell everybody what your call is.
Yeah.
And he said, and half the people up in the stands can see better than you. That's why they don't allow coaches they have to sit on the bottom row because you can see better up there. That was really kind of interesting for me to think about that. I thought, he does know. Then I asked, what percentage of the calls you think you get right? And he goes, about 80%. But he said it's 80% on both sides, so it works out in the wash. And I thought, he does know he misses calls, so me hollering at him
ain't doing no good.
He knows. The second he blew that whistle, he fouled it out.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer, that we always hear the expression of, I think I lost a quart of blood, as an example, when someone cut their finger or arm or something like that. Well, in terms of loss to mosquitoes.
Okay.
Mosquitoes, a little blood-sucking insect. It'd take 1.2 million mosquitoes on the average human to drain them of blood.
Of all the blood?
All the blood.
1.2.
1.2 million mosquitoes to drain you dry.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've seen them on animals to where how can it even be anything left because of all the mosquitoes on them? You know what? 1 point, how many?
1.2.
See, I calculated 1.1, but,
you're going to let it
I'm
ride?
going to go ahead and round up to 1.2. It's a fact.
That is a fact, Jack.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.